don't even know if he's awake.
He is well awake.
Hello everyone. We're going to say hello to YouTube. Yeah, look.
He's like, Mum, why are you doing this to me? I'm not even 2 weeks old.
2 weeks today, guys.
He's got one hell of a stare on him there.
Oh, you're so cute. Oh, you yawning.
Yeah, so, welcome
back. Sorry, it's been a while, guys. I think the last time I posted was probably like well over a month ago.
Yeah.
And I
It's been
see
a roller
everyone was
coaster.
worrying about us. But if you follow us on Instagram, you will know we're fine. The babies are here. We announced them, was it last week? But we've had a couple of weeks to process and recover, let's just say, and be in this love bubble, because it has been absolutely incredible.
I'd say adjust, recover.
Yeah, adjusting, recovering, actually admiring these two.
Who we're utterly obsessed with, by the
We
way.
are so obsessed with them.
I mean, massive change, massive curveball in our life, but...
I know. But yeah, we're going to welcome to the world Eden.
No, Eden don't come first.
Well, Eve came first. Then you welcome Eve. Go on. Eve
So,
came first.
We would like to welcome the first girl, my first girl. Don't know if you can see her. Well, I say first girl, she's my second girl because there's my first girl over there. But this is Eve, who's kind of in a food sleep coma right now.
And this is Eden, guys. Look. Hi, baby boy. Say hello to the world. He's so cute. But yeah,
Yes.
utterly obsessed. They're tiny. So they're now at their birth weight. They're back to their birth weight. He weighed 6'4". No, he weighed 6'11". No, he weighed 6'7".
Still got baby weight.
We've still got baby very much now. 6'7". She was 5'14", but she's now 6'1" or 6. Yeah, she's 6'1" now. She's over her birth weight, and he is 6'6", I think now. So he's nearly 800 grams under his birth weight. So yeah, they're gorgeous little babies. A lot littler than we thought they would be, because the last scan I had, actually the last 2 scans I had, they said that they were 8-pounders. And we were like, sorry, I'm carrying 2 8-pounders. And guys, I went to 39 weeks, because I think the last time I posted was 34 weeks. And I actually went 5 weeks further. And the reason I didn't post anything else on YouTube was because we were in this pressure, it felt like a pressure cooker. That's all I can explain. Like, with how much every week that went by after 35 weeks, I was getting a lot of symptoms of labour, and like Braxton Hicks were kicking up. There was a lot of, and then they kept saying, oh, we need to check babies are okay and they're not distressed. And I had some days that I would be contracting for like a few hours or 8 hours, or even went to 12 hours. Getting like, and I wasn't knowing, is there a difference here between labour or Braxton Hicks? But I kind of knew that it wasn't full labour, because I was like, I didn't even have to like stop breathing or anything. Like, I was like, stop breathing. Like, yeah, I think it's that whole regularity of it. And I felt fine. But we kind of just didn't want to talk about it too much. We just really, like, my plan was to allow myself to go into labour naturally. That's what I wanted. And I just didn't want to, I don't know. We just felt like we just wanted to go into our own bubble and just prepare for labour, because we kind of didn't know when it was going to happen from 35 weeks onwards, because we had a bit of a scare at 34 weeks where obviously I was getting monitored and everything. And they told me I was 1 centimetre dilated already. When was that? It was like 34, 35 weeks, wasn't it? So then they were saying that things could happen imminently, or like in the next few weeks. But obviously every week I got onto, everyone was saying, look, you're already dilating, you're already close to it, and you're not going into labour. We need to get you in for a C-section, or we need to like talk about a plan. And I kept putting everything off, because I was like, no, I still knew in my body I wanted their babies to come when they were ready. And they were obviously worried about how heavy they were and this and the other. Anyways, I was struggling, not going to lie, in the last couple of weeks of pregnancy. Those 4 weeks or something.
4 weeks, intensely struggling.
Yeah, from 36 weeks to 39 weeks, I was intensely struggling with like standing up, walking far. I constantly get pains. It was just getting to the point where I was so like, I'm actually exhausted. Like I was sleeping a lot, but I was so glad I did, because I made it to 39 weeks. We did a scan literally a few days before, I think, and that's when they were saying there were 2 8-pounders. I was like, wow. But I still managed to get through and everything. And then I knew the day before I went to labour, I said to you, I was like, I'm actually done. I'm at my limit. I can't stretch anymore. They were worried about my overstretched uterus. But I was determined. I was like, no, I know they're coming soon. I had this like internal instinct that something was going to happen, didn't I? And the Monday, they told me, and that they wanted me to come in again and to talk to one of the obstetricians. And I was like, I just said no, because I think I'm going into labour. And I had contractions enough for 12 hours on Monday, the 24th of November. And I was like, no, something's happening. I know something's happening. My midwife's coming tomorrow. I just want to wait a few days. I'm not going to make any plans for any more scans or any more appointments. I just really want to be in my nest. And I really was like really resting. I felt so relaxed. I felt so surrendered. I felt so trusting in everything in the plan that we were sticking to. And obviously you guys know I had 2 breech babies as well. So I just felt like I wanted to go into my cocoon and really listen to my body and communicate with my body. And I just knew there was a part of me that was just like, no, I need to wait until they're ready, because I already knew that they release a hormone in the mother that it activates labour. So literally the day later, after the 12 hours contractions, I stopped contracting for like, I think 6-7 hours or something. The midwife came and said, you could literally go from 0 to 100 quite quick. And the moment she left, maybe an hour later, I was like, huge contraction out of nowhere, and I went, whoa, that felt different. That felt very low, and I waddled to the toilet, didn't I? And that was the start of my actual labour, because I actually had the experience of my waters breaking, and I was like, babies are ready. We had a little moment together where we were like, wow, okay, they're ready to come. They're ready to come earthside. And the plan was to still have a home birth, because they were supporting the home birth, even though they had breech babies, even though I had breech babies. But I knew if there was any complications or anything that was slightly off or not right, or they were concerned that we were 5 minutes down the road from the hospital, that I know that plan, the next plan would be to go into hospital if anything was not right. If it was not right, then I knew I was going to have a C-section. But I wanted to see what my body did, see if it was naturally capable of birthing them. So we had, that was the moment I went into labour, and I thought we'd share our birth story with you. It was definitely wild. It was really quick. I thought it was what I expected. I say I expected, but I had prepared. Like, there was not one thing that happened in the birth that I hadn't prepared for. So I was so glad that I'd done all my research, and I knew all the different outcomes that could be with birthing breech babies. I knew what signs to look out for, etc., etc. So I'm glad I'd done my research, because I was mentally prepared, but I think you weren't very prepared for what was to come. So, oh my God, guys, like, it's actually happening.
Recording.
Oh my God. I said I'd just done my hair this morning, thinking, I need to do it all nice because to prepare for birth. And I was thinking that I was going to go into labour today. And my waters have officially broken. Oh my God, I had the most intense contraction out of nowhere, wasn't it? It literally just felt like it was out of nowhere, because I'd been contracting a little bit overnight and yesterday, and then literally it wore off about 4 a.m. and then I was like, nothing. And then my midwife came round, did some checks. No, the babies are good, heartbeats are good. And then she left, and 10 minutes after she left, my whole hips, it felt like everything just went down to my pelvis. And I'd already been to the toilet before, so I was like, I feel like I need a poo, but I've been to the poo. And then bowel clear out. Thought, okay, that's maybe what that was, because it was really deep and pushing everything down. So I was like, okay, maybe this is a start. I walked out, and then what did I say to you? I said, babe, this contraction's not going. What did I say?
No, you still need to go to the toilet again.
Oh my god, no, I need to go to the toilet again. Something's happening. My hips were like I felt like my hips were about to explode. And then I went to the toilet again, had another clear out, and then bush, I could feel like the breaking of my waters, and then my hot water just flew out of me. And it's still coming out now. So, oh my god, guys, like, it's actually happening. We're starting 12:24 on the 25th of the 11th, 2025. We're here. They have ramped up, guys. We're at my mum's now. Oh, it feels like I can really feel it in my bum. There's another one coming, baby. Baby, 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 I need you. Baba.
But there's this thing.
Oh.
There's this thing, look.
Oh. Oh. I think that was. Oh. 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 Oh.
It's coming out, it's a bit slimy still.
Oh.
I mean, it's love now.
Oh. 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 Mm. Mm. Mm.
So what's the preference? 4 hours of this or 48 hours?
I doubt it then.
4 with a bit of luck.
Oh,
Four would be brilliant.
Did you stop that one? Did that one go on or not?
I can do anything. I wear those affirmation cards. I can do anything for 60 seconds.
Affirmation cards in the
No,
band.
no, not. They're all here. They're in my bags. My bag's there. At the front of the bag. I need my fan, my TENS machine, and at the front of the bag is all the affirmation cards. Like one of them. Just get everything.
Music. There's some music.
Yeah.
Well, you get the radio, your microphone, that, you just connect into that.
I know, but Mum, can you put the playlist on the YouTube? I don't know if I'll be able to do it in time. These are really quickly progressing. Are you logged into YouTube? Oh, look at you. Oh, you're so cute. Thanks.
I've got a closer up selfie, could you?
I know. Oh dear.
So I think
Yeah.
get the midwives to come here.
Yeah.
They come in. Do
Oh, if you're going to say Oasis, they won't let me in there
why?
because I've got breech babies.
So why would they let you do
I
it
know.
at home?
And I can't.
Well, they don't really want us
Then-
doing that.
Okay, well then when they come, say I'm either doing it at home or I'm in the Oasis.
You've already said that.
Can't be disrupting the whole processing. Well, it's up to you.
I'm just going to wait for them to come.
Okay.
Another one's coming. Where's your phone?
We already missed one, Mum.
I know.
So what was it this one?
Baby needs to prepare first and then hold me because it's like to get into one. That's too.
No.
I don't eat like crap. Are you providing against statement then?
Oh. Oh.
Are you filming this?
Oh, we need to turn it off actually.
Oh.
Who wants a Red Bull? It's a bag of Red Bull.
Oh, no, that hurts. That hurts. That hurts. Oh. Oh, this is my back.
They'll be out
Oh.
before Joe's home, won't they?
Wait, Mum, can I go forward? I need to go forward on this one and you hold it back down. Oh. Oh.
Oh, I'm glad the bed's there.
Oh.
Have a drink for me.
Bring back memories? Your most recent memories?
You've got this. And just breathe. Hold on, Lauren, just breathe, darling. You've got this. Listen, you've got this. You know your body. You still look lovely.
Not drama, I don't know what else is.
I'm gonna be.
This is your first, isn't it? Yeah.
I was prepared
Yeah.
for the birthing process, for the natural home birth.
Yeah.
I hadn't considered C-section, so I think that whole experience
Or going
really.
into hospital, there was not one part of you that thought we were going to go to hospital.
Well, I did think there was a potential for going into hospital.
Okay.
I thought you was going to have a vaginal birth, and I'd kind of set my. I can be quite stubborn when I'm just like, okay, that's how it's going to be. That's what I thought we was working towards.
Yeah.
It's not what fully materialised. Actually, what fully materialised was quite traumatising for me.
But not for me, guys.
Not for you.
No.
The first part was incredible. Like going in,
Yeah.
having your waters break. It was a special moment between me and you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me being able to hold you in all of the contractions.
Yeah.
Coming up to your mum's house, like me being able to support. I really felt like I'd found my role.
Yeah,
like I'd been
you were.
preparing a lot of presents. You know, like a lot of supporting, a lot of nurturing, a lack of panic. Just
It was so
I
calm.
was so enjoying
But
that.
everything felt calm from the moment my waters broke.
That's so cute. Both got mummy. Well done, baby.
Thank you.
Currently 2 a.m. Lauren's had 0 sleep, and I've had about 20 minutes. What's been a very long day. And these two are synchronised crying, meaning when one stops, the other one starts. They haven't really stopped, have they? Been crying the whole time. But big transition for them.
Yeah.
It's so gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous.
It's been a very long day. So, good morning. We've managed to have. They went to bed at exactly 3:33, and we've managed to get about 3.5 hours sleep before the midwives come in and said, "You probably need to start waking them up." So, yeah, they're both awake now.
That's just.
Little Eve latched on really well. Eden's.
I think we might have to switch him. I don't know.
Eden's
Maybe
taking his
position.
time. How are you this morning, Mummy?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Definitely need to take some painkillers though if I start moving. I haven't moved for how long now? 12 hours.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to be moving for another. Well, I think they said 24 hours, so hopefully between 6 and 8 tonight they'll let us out. Go home. But yeah,
No, he's really not on there.
I'll
I
come
mean, you
up
can't
with.
get him on there. Hey Eve.
I'll cry if I look at you any longer. I hope Dad's beard's not too. Shut up. She's so gorgeous. So awake. Is he so awake as well?
Yeah.
This is the most I've seen him awake.
Oh my god. Get there on video.
Hi guys, so we haven't really fully updated everything that's happened over the last few days. I say few days, it's Thursday, so 2 days since Tuesday. The last 48 hours have just been wild, but officially I'm showered. Just giving her a little feed. She's latched on amazingly, by the way. She's just the cutest thing. But yes, I'm all showered, ready to go. Eden is in there somewhere. I can't see him. I can't even lean over. But the husband's gone to get the car seats in the car because we weren't prepared for a hospital birth, obviously. But yes, I just wanted to update from here that all is well. We have been discharged. I have medication that I'm now pumped up on because of the C-section, and I'm just carrying on with my paracetamol and Nurofen to get me through the pains of the C-section scar because it is next level. But they've been amazing here, like the community midwives that were on call with me from the beginning to the midwives here at on the labour ward and Oasis that was still part of my birth plan. Every single one of the team have just been amazing. And if I haven't talked about it already, I will be doing a whole story on my birth and how it all went, and and how I felt about it. But yeah, the last 48 hours have been wild, full of emotions, full of pain, and then full of relief, but also full of absolute beautiful moments of feeding these babies, and yeah, just insane bubble, that's all I can say. But we're fully ready to go home now because we want sleep. We don't want to be disturbed all the time because they do come in all the time and check, which is great, but at the same time you don't get rest. So I want to go home so I can rest, and then my mum can look after the babies between the feeding, because I am exclusively breastfeeding, guys. But yeah, I'm glad I'm all ready to go and I'm feeling good, even though I lost 2 litres of blood, which you probably know already. Yesterday morning I wasn't so good. I was like, oh, okay, I feel a little bit like out of it. But yeah, as the day went on, I felt better towards the end of the day. And then this morning I felt a lot better because David allowed me to get sleep last night because he was super dad of the year. David has been unbelievable. He's been like the best husband anyone could wish for. He was doing everything. He was like drinking coffee and just trying to stay up and just get the babies changed, rocking them, settling them, because their wake window or unsettledness, we have to learn to communicate with the babies because they clearly know what they want. But with my lack of sleep, I didn't realise that actually their cluster feeding slot window is they're quite nocturnal, so they're 9:30 till 3 o'clock. It's been the last 2 nights have been where they're stimulated and they can't settle. But I think it's because I need to feed them more in those times, which I didn't last night because I was a zombie and I was just out of the count, so David was just putting them on me, but I couldn't hold them, and then they were constantly wanting a feed, and we didn't know what was wrong with them, so they were just screaming for those hours, 9 till 3. But yeah, after 3 o'clock, they have been, since 3 o'clock this morning, they have been a dream. David got some sleep, he got 3 hours. I got another 6 hours with a feed between. I fed them both at 6 o'clock and then went to bed again till 9 o'clock, and they were still sleeping. They were literally dream feeding, and they've been pretty much sleepy all day. Feeding, a little wake, feeding, sleeping. But they're just so good. During the day, they're an absolute dream. Eden is just even more, he's just so chilled. I thought he would be a bit more of the crier when he came out, because he was very startled when he came out. But he's just been the more chilled one. It's this little Eve that's a little bit more, wants more comfort. She definitely wants more comfort, more daddy time and more mummy breast time than Eden does. But they're both getting spoiled with so much love and cuddles and skin to skin, and it's just, yeah, this part was amazing. So we're going to go enjoy it back at home. But yeah, wanted to check in as we check out of hospital.
You've got the essentials.
Essentials, I am the essential.
You're the essential, but they come in with the twink. Oh my god, we've got 2, baby. We got 2.
Oh, no.
Got one sleeping here.
Oh, are they all?
They're so good.
And then she is on the boob.
Are we ready to go now? Ready? Are you going to shower, get the stuff together, and go?
Sleep. Yes, I'm going to sleep.
No, we're going to shower first and get out of it. I need to get
What's
out of it.
this? Are we talking YouTube?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I'm so.
I know, you're
so
like,
deflated.
he's had 3 hours, guys, in 48 hours. Like,
Just.
no,
cooked.
he's super dad right now, but on another planet. But we're going to get you home. This is priority, is to get home. So
to
that
get home. You seem
no,
good,
of
though. You
course.
seem
I'm.
experienced.
It's because you let me sleep. So now it's priority. Get David sleep, so we can take care of him, and then he can take care of me in the middle of the
I'm
night.
actually traumatised by some experience. Gonna need some coaching.
You know, they come in and offered it, and they said that you actually there's like a help thing we can get to support the trauma of the birth.
But let's celebrate, because I just want to get back and see
I
these
know.
people.
Good cuddles.
I don't want to say guys. Twins. Souls.
Oh, hello. Oh, she's heard you. She's heard you. Look, Daddy's here. Daddy's here. Oh. Oh.
Gino's been very good. You're very good, Gino. Yeah, you're like, here are these, they're your new brother and sister. And then the granddad has got Eve. Aww. Eve after your mum. How's that feel? Eve after your mum.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
cute.
think fondly of my mum.
Yeah. And then Eden Leslie, like your name. He's got granddad's middle name as well as David's late granddad's middle name. Yeah, they're very sneezy, but apparently that's normal for
season.
Yes, I'm
Christmas time, 'cause the winter fills the air. You already know it's Christmas, love beyond compare. It's Christmas time. Oh, what a blissful sight. We're singing heartfelt carols in the night. Warm embraces, spirits bright. Where family and friends unite. We light up the world, forget our troubles for a moment.
Let's start from the
flying.
beginning. We'll start from the beginning because it was such a whirlwind. It was all happening very quickly. So, waters broke. Like I said, I'd been in they call it luteal? No. Lateal labour or something. Lateal, it's the first stages of labour basically, which is your body preparing to go from 0 centimetres up to 4 or 5 centimetres, when classically then there's like a transition basically, and then you go through another stage of labour, and then you'll go into fully active labour, which then gets you to 10 centimetres. So there's like 3 stages of labour you have to look out for, and you normally don't call the midwives or go into hospital until you're at least, one contraction, a contraction lasting 60 seconds and having them every 5 minutes for an hour. That's when you get the call to hospital or midwives. So we were like, right, as soon as the waters broke, we were like, okay, let's see. I didn't even time contractions for the first hour. We were kind of just letting everything happen because I thought, oh, it's going to take ages. But because I had contractions every 10 to 12 minutes the day before for 12 hours, was it? It was basically on the Monday from 3 o'clock, I started getting regular contractions until 4 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, it's about 13 hours. And I was getting regular contractions, but they were every 10 to 12 minutes. So I timed them and I thought, well, there's nothing, I can't call the midwife for that. So I let the midwife know because I had a direct number, and I said, look, I'll just let you know things are starting to happen. Let's see if it progresses. But nothing progressed. It just stayed 10 to 12 minutes for those 12, 13 hours. But apparently that's still a lot of work that my body's doing in contracting, but I managed to sleep through them. Then they wore off at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then obviously didn't come back until my waters broke the next day, 12 o'clock. So 12 o'clock, waters broke, massive contraction, and about 10 minutes later, I think I started to get another one. About 8 to 10 minutes later, I think it was, I got another one, and I was like, okay, they're now, so I think, yeah, every sort of between 8 and 10 minutes. And then I think we did that for about an hour. I was on the ball, wasn't I, at ours, and I was just having a look, and then I thought, okay, let me start timing them, because I knew then there was a bit of irregularity, wasn't there? So I thought, okay, let's just see, let's start timing them. And I timed them did I time them for an hour? I don't know if I timed, we did about an hour and a half.
You just started timing them, how long they were. And
then I remember the app said, like, you're ready, call the hospital, call the midwife, you're now in established labour. So it was established labour, I think that was what the app said. So I was like, okay, right, app, call the midwife. So I messaged my midwife, but I called MAU saying, called the Oasis Birth Centre saying, hi, my waters are broke, I'm having contractions so after an hour of contractions, they went from 10 minutes down to 5 minutes. And then they were regular every 5 minutes for 1 minute, pretty much after an hour of contracting, weren't they? So I did a whole another hour of doing it, and they were about 5 minutes apart. So called them, told them that. They were like, okay, right, we're going to get the team together. We'll see, because they wanted to send the best of the best who'd had the breech training to my house. And we were preparing to go over to my mum's. So we live pretty much next door to my mum's. So once we'd called them, they had the meeting, and then I remember walking over to my mum's. It's only like maybe a 3 minute walk.
30-second walk?
Yeah, but for me...
Oh, for you it was about a 10-minute walk.
Guys, I think I had 2 contractions just walking to my mum's in the space of 3 minutes. And like, I was like, hang on a minute, they're ramping up very fast. So I got to my mum's and I was like, no, now they're very quick. So then my mum started timing them on my phone, because I'm now in, like, I felt like real established labour. Like, I felt like my body just went from 0 to 100 very quickly. And I think we only had about, I don't know, but basically in the short space of an hour from coming to my mum's, my mum timed them, and they went from 5 to 7 minutes to every 3 minutes in the space of 1 hour. So it just got really down to, like, very quickly. And I think I only had like 2.5 minutes between each contraction, and the midwife still weren't there. And I remember stressing, going, why the midwife's not here? I was messaging my midwife, they're still talking, they've still got team meetings about who's coming. And I was like, oh my God, this is mad, please just set someone come. And then my midwife just went, all right, I'm coming now, whether or not, like, I'm just coming. So she turned up with her midwife, the one she was on call with, and then another 3 midwives turned up. So at, like, I don't know what time it was, but maybe a couple of hours into, about 2 o'clock, so 2 hours into my labour, I had 5 midwives turned up to our house. I was like, oh my gosh, but I was then now a bit out of it, like, because my contractions were so frequent, and they were like, okay, this is progressing quite fast. We couldn't get the pool so annoyed. I really wanted a home pool birth. And then my mum said, just to let you know, we opened the box and it said that if it's stored somewhere cold, it needs 72 hours to get to room temperature. And I looked at Mum, I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, that was my dream, like to have the birth in the pool and to have the weight off of me because I was so heavy. And so we got told that was a no-go, which I was really disappointed about, wasn't I? And I was like, no. I said, right, let's just get the music on, let's get my TENS machine on, because now my contractions were getting really deep into my pelvis. I was getting a lot of my contractions into my back and my hips that David had to like hold me and support me. And then at the same time, I wanted the weight off of me. So I was like leaning off of you like a monkey. And yeah, I'll share the footage now of like that part so you can actually see. We managed to get a little bit of it. But yeah, when the midwives turned up, it was pretty much, we had 3 hours? I think we stayed for about 3 hours.
3, 4, 5, yeah.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we had about 3 hours of labouring with the midwives here. And I think in those hours, again, my contractions were getting very, very regular. So they wanted to do I actually said, do you mind checking me? I wasn't actually going to do any checks, but I was like, why don't I have any break between? I'm trying to put on some music. I'm trying to like recover between my contractions. And this break was getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And I was thinking, why is this happening so fast? I thought I'd have more time. So I was like, can you just check how progressed I am? And she checked me, didn't she, after a few hours of labouring. And I was only 2 centimetres. And I was like, is this normal to have so many contractions so quick and only be 2 centimetres? And they all looked at each other and they were like, not really. Like, we would have expected you to be further dilated, but because they're breech, it might be the pressure of baby's bum not coming down. So baby girl, her bum not actually coming down and putting that pressure to dilate my cervix more than it was. So I was like, right, I'm going to be in this for hours now. I just said like, this is going to take a lot longer than we thought, because it felt like it was going super quick because of how the contractions were. But then it got to a point I was like, I need some kind of other pain relief or like something to help me, because the back pain and the hip pain was like beyond what I could ever have imagined. I was like, is this normal to have all this pain in my back? Like I had no contractions in my front. Like, I didn't feel like I had any contractions in my front. It was just all on my back. And they were like, yeah, but this is because of it could be her positioning, like it's not ideal and it's putting pressure in the wrong place. So yeah, we were a bit like, okay, well, let's think of other alternatives. And I said, I just need to get into the water. I was just so obsessed. I was like, I need the water. But they wouldn't let me go into the Oasis Birth Centre, which had the water. So my mum was like, right, I'm going to run a bath. Let's see how you get on in that. So we decided to go upstairs, didn't we, to go into the bath. And that was when, I think I was really out of it by then. But what happened?
Yeah, I just think they were just coming so fast and so frequent. You wasn't getting a chance to recover. It was in constant pain. And I think that's when the midwife started to say, okay, this isn't normal. The contractions that you're having, how many you're having, how little the recovery is.
How many did she say? She goes, Lauren, because I was in my own world trying to just like relax into them all, and I was trying to relax into your arms. I was giving you a dead arm. I think he was holding me up in the bath because I just wanted to just completely surrender my body, and I was finding ways to do it. And it wasn't like I couldn't move through the pain, because I was like, it's just pain. I'm closer to me and my baby. I was getting these affirmations. You were telling me all these affirmations, but it was the fact that I'd come out of a contraction, and in the bath, it was like the next one was not even 30 seconds later. I think I didn't have a time to just like readjust myself or even just talk to you and be calm. It felt like as soon as I got out of one, I was straight into another, and I was like, this is not normal. And I remember like then getting quite uncomfortable and saying to you, babe, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. Didn't I say something to you? And then did you ask the midwife, is this normal? Well,
no, we got you out and put you on the bed.
No, but then she said something about...
No, she said before you got out, she said this isn't normal for you to be having so many contractions.
You've had 10 contractions in 10 minutes. You aren't getting any recovery, and I'm worried about the babies getting any recovery, because if you're not recovering, the babies aren't recovering. And I was like, I knew it, and I was like, yeah, I said, this is not normal, is it? She went, no, Lauren, this feels like an obstruction, and what we would recommend now is going into hospital to just check that babies are okay, that if it's all okay down there, because we don't know, we haven't got the equipment here. So I knew from that moment, I was like, I actually feel like something stuck. It felt like my body was overdriving, because that's what she was saying, your body's going to be exhaust itself if it carries on doing this much longer, because I was only 2 centimetres not long before I got into the bath anyways. If it carries on, that I'm going to over exhaust my uterus, and that I could have a collapse of, what did they say, a centre abruption, or a collapse, or your body just completely gives up because it's too exhausted.
Yeah, and at that time they wouldn't check you, they wouldn't give you a sweep, they wouldn't see how far dilate, and that's when I actually got a bit disappointed, because we had 4 or 5 midwives there. I think I was disappointed at the start when they arrived, because they'd all been breech trained, but none of them had actually been at a breech birth, only one of them once, and for me that was a bit of a concern. But obviously they started saying, you were struggling, and they didn't like the way this was progressing, and then they said, let's get you into hospital.
But I always knew that I would trust them to say if this is normal or not. Like, if my body was going to naturally do it, I would have trusted my body to naturally do it. But there was something in me that felt like my body was working twice as hard to get her down, but yet she wasn't moving. And when she told me, she goes, you should be at 10 centimetres. By how many contractions you're having now, this window normally lasts about 15 minutes. You've been doing this for longer than 15 minutes with the same, what would happen at 10 centimetres dilator, but yet I'm not 10 centimetres, because that's normally the end weight, and I was having the end at the beginning. And I went, and then she was like, Lauren, do you feel like you need to push? Because that's where she was looking at me going, right, she's ready to give birth. But where I was like, there's not one part of me that could feel her in the canal to push her out. I couldn't feel her there. And I said that. I said, no, I don't feel like I need to push at all. But it's not that she's not moving. She's not moving down. And that's all I knew in my body, that my body was like, she ain't coming out. I just knew. There was just a part of me that knew. And obviously I had to try and explain that to you, but you hadn't even considered what happens if that wasn't an outcome, I guess. So you were a little bit more, wait a minute, you could get.
I just wanted to make sure that before they rushed off for a C-section, that was purely because there was a danger here, that this needed to happen. There was no other way. I don't know. At the time, I felt like maybe they wasn't fully trained enough to handle that situation as it was in that moment. And I said it, I think in hindsight everything played out exactly how it needed to play out. It was all perfectly, divinely timed in that way. But in that moment, this was probably my own frustration, because me and you was doing really well, in the way we was going with the birth, and I didn't have any concerns, but they had concerns, and I didn't know whether.
No, but I did.
Yeah, you had. But the problem with your concerns was you was in so much pain as well, so I didn't know whether you was losing your own train of thought because you're in so much pain. So I didn't know whether you was losing your ability to stay with your pregnancy, and I wanted to make sure that this was still an informed choice on your end, and that it wasn't just taken away, because it felt like the C-section was the easier thing to do. I ultimately see that it was the same. Again, I can't say it was the fully safer thing, because you don't know whether, if you'd had trained breech that had been at many breech births and seen it before, you probably potentially could have actually had delivery vaginally. And I think that's the difference between being with people that are so trained and experienced in breech that they're able to make that not based on a worry or a fear on outcome, but can actually recognise that but to me it just felt like it was the easier thing for them to do, the safer thing for them to do. And so when they all said, okay, let's take her to hospital, C-section, you kind of was like, okay, cool, because that felt aligned to you, let's do that. And
no, I just knew as soon as that, and I think I said it, I think they were like, let's just go and check that, we need to check that they're okay, because babies were my first priority. I knew if I was stressed, they would be stressed. But how funny that when, obviously it's not funny, but when we actually did, so unfortunately it did get to a point where when I did get out and I wanted to be checked, I was getting them so quickly that they were like, this is now emergency, we need to call 999. The main midwife said, this is not normal, and I knew when they were saying this to me, I knew it was nothing to do with their training. You were just obviously just wanting to get everything in a row.
I think I had become so focused that we was going to do it a certain way. I wasn't prepared for the other way.
I know, but I think I got prepared on all avenues, and I knew if there was anything that was off a normal, because I looked at breech births and I really did my research on it, and I watched, I followed this other person that posts all and breech birth stories, so like knowing that the contractions were going to be different, and it happens. There was a few things that I'd learned about breech birth, and that it was going to be different. Then sometimes they are harder, so I kind of knew it wasn't going to be the normal head down birth because of the pressure of the head. But this little girl, she's got the smallest bum, the longest legs, and the biggest feet on earth. Like she's got the smallest bum, but then she's got the biggest feet, and literally there was no way, when she came out and we saw how tiny she was and how light she was as well. They say that the lighter the babies, that there's not enough pressure to get them down to the birth canal. And I just had this feeling, I was like, something stuck. And I said that. I said, something stuck, that she's not coming down. I knew it. So I knew in my head, they were like, well, look, it's not necessarily you have to have a C-section. But I was like, no, because I knew it was either a home birth or it was going to be emergency, that I would have to go into C-section. That was like in my head already. And I had to totally accept that, because the in-between, I didn't want anything to induce. They were going to put something in me to reduce my contractions. That was another hormone that I didn't want in my body. I didn't want any of that unnatural Pitocin and all of the things that they do. I think it's the opposite to Pitocin, because obviously Pitocin brings on your contractions more. I needed the opposite. I needed to slow my contractions down because it was progressing too fast. And then they would have given me the epidural and all of the things. And I was just like, I don't even want that fuss. I said, I always knew, like, I didn't want, the induction was never on my birth plan. I said that to you, like nothing was, I either was home birth or C-section. That was in my head, but I think you were just not expecting it to be that much of an emergency.
I just wanted you to make an informed choice. I wanted to make sure that you was aware of the choices that you was making.
And I didn't have much of a break, did I, to even get my mind into, but then I did. When I had like even 30 seconds, I was like, I know something's wrong. And I said, look, it's fine, just take me in, it's all good, I'm surrendered to it, I know what needs to be done. And yeah, so it was an emergency, like the blue lights did come, the ambulance came, it was all happening. I was like, this is a bit of drama. And as you will see, I was quite calm. We were both quite calm.
Both very calm the whole way through.
The whole team were, even though it was emergency,
the midwives team were
calm.
Very good. They were very good.
They were so good. And
so
they were so
supportive.
And they were like, don't worry, your birth plan's still going ahead. Like, we're here for you, whatever you need in that room, we're going to make sure that they were with us the whole way. So it felt like we had all of the home birth lovely midwives, and they all came into the theatre with me, because by the time we got there, it was like they had people waiting. We were like the talk of the town, the talk of the maternity, weren't we? Because we had two different teams prepared for our coming in. So I was either coming into the labour ward to have a medicated vaginal birth, or I was going straight into theatre. And as soon as we got there, they all went, no, we're going into the theatre. Because they were super concerned with baby. And my heart, that was it, my heart rate. I don't think you knew that, but my heart rate was through the roof, apparently. So they were really concerned because, but I don't know if it was because I was stressing. But I didn't feel stressed, but my blood pressure was, that was it, my blood pressure was high. And something else was high as well, and they were like, this isn't right, let's get you in. But as soon as they put the things on my belly in the theatre room, they didn't even put the things, I couldn't lay down, that was it. I was in so much pain, my contractions were happening so quickly, they couldn't even get the thing around me, so they literally just quickly scanned, got the heartbeats from the scan, and the babies were perfect. They were like, and that's when they knew we had a bit of time to like get everything prepared, to get me prepared, get me the epidural. I had a contraction through the epidural because they were so close together, and I knew they waited for me to finish one, and then I was like, right, I'm ready, got into position, they put the epidural in me, and then as soon as they went in me, I felt the sharp prick, and then I went to the anaesthetist in front of me, and I went, another contraction's coming, and I remember the midwife was in front of me as well, holding my hand. I think I was holding someone's hand. I don't know if I was holding your hand. I think I was holding. I was so away with it because I was like, no, there's another one coming. There's another one coming. Am I going to be paralysed? That was the biggest fear. That moment that I knew I couldn't move through a contraction when all I wanted to do was move, because your body just wants to. I don't know. Like through my contractions, it was like I just needed to get into a comfortable position and then just kind of surrender into it. I had no choice but to be leaning forward while I was having this deep contraction. But luckily, I didn't move. I was so determined. I was like, God, please support me through this. And the moment I got numbed out and I started feeling my feet getting numb, it all come up to here. I got numb up to the boobs. And then I just laid down. I was like, oh my God, there's like a relief that I'm not in pain anymore. And then suddenly everyone was then talking to me and saying, right, this is what's happening. We're going to do this, that and the other. And everything sort of happened very quickly. But I guess I was a bit oblivious once I was drugged up. And then what happened?
Yeah, I think men are overlooked. I don't know whether men are overlooked, but it felt like maybe that was my lack of preparation. But from going from here, a lovely calm home, everything's nice and calm, into an ambulance with blue flashing lights and then straight into a theatre. Like when we walked into the theatre, no lie, there was about 20 people in the room, and that's not. There was at least 20 people, bright white lights all around. Like all of a sudden, it was just like, boom, and then it was like so quick. Like they didn't check you, see how far you'd gone, what was going on. It was just epidural. It was sign this waiver, epidural, lay down, and then before I know it, like. Obviously we hear Eve crying, which is great, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Best man.
We get Eve given to us, and then she gets put on you initially.
Yeah, straight on my boob.
Straight on your boob.
She's been on there ever since. She's a guzzler. She went straight on the boob.
And then after they give us Eve,
But she was covered in blood. It was obviously that was the.
Yeah, but that's part.
No, because they knew before they told me. They said they saw how overstretched my uterus was. They were worried about the abruption or whatever. I don't know what they called it. I need to remember. But they knew there was an obstruction, but then they did check. I think it was the placenta. They checked the placentas, and the placenta seemed fine. But they knew something was obstructing. But then when they cut through my skin and the layers, when they got to my uterus, they said, this is an overstretched uterus, and they knew as in the moment they cut it up, cut me open, that I was just going to bleed, and that's exactly what happened. They cut me open, and she come out like Bloody Mary, like literally blood, like bloodbath, because her waters had fully gone. So she come out completely red. They had to wipe her all up. I wanted delayed cord cutting as well, so for 2 minutes. She did get delayed cord cutting, but that was fine because they had to try and find him. And this little monkey he apparently had so much room. So basically delivering breech babies, whether it's vaginally or cesarean, is one of the hardest cesareans. And we got told this was the hardest cesarean the surgeon's ever done, delivering 2 breech babies. They've never done that before. And they said it was the hardest one, but they couldn't find him. So when they were doing the delayed cord cutting on her, they were having to suck up a lot of blood and had to go up. They had to go and find him and pull him by the leg. And oh my God, like obviously we didn't realise, but one of the midwives, we did ask the midwives to get footage of the thing so then we could see, remember the good memories. But we didn't realise that she'd actually filmed them both coming out of my belly. So when she showed us, we were like, I was like, that's like, I think I saw my intestines. I think I saw everything inside, that was a lot to process. But seeing him, we saw them go up me to try and find the foot and then have to pull him out by the feet and then do all this manoeuvring because he was coming out backwards and he's got quite a big head and his head got stuck. And they couldn't get us there to do this manoeuvre and he come out all so shocked.
He wasn't breathing
He wasn't breathing straight away, so they had to stimulate him.
Because she come round to me and said, just to let you know, we're having complications with.
No, but I think they said. Did they say complications?
Yeah, they said complications. Okay. He's not breathing at the moment. That's what they said.
Yeah, but he didn't need. They didn't want to go straight to oxygen, but they just stimulated him and then he started moving. But I saw the whole thing. They filmed the whole thing, so
which is quite normal for them not to be breathing when they come out.
Because his waters didn't break. It was only hers that broke, so they had to break his waters, find him, pull him out. But yeah, he came out completely blue, wasn't breathing straight away, but they stimulated him. They had to really rub him.
Took him a while to get him going.
And then luckily he moved his arm and then started to breathe and then he came round. And then all I remember saying, because they said, we need to take him. I said, no. And I remember saying this to you. I said, no, get my baby. I want him close to me. Get him on me. I was like, I know and he was screaming. And they were like, no, he's actually okay. He doesn't need oxygen. They brought him straight to me, literally. Like, they couldn't do a delayed cord cutting.
They brought him to me first.
They brought him to you and then you put him. Did you put him by my face?
No, I had him first on myself.
But he wasn't stopping screaming, was he?
No, that's why I took him straight away. Yeah.
He took him, and then he wouldn't
Stripped
stop
my top
screaming.
off.
Yeah.
Stripped my overalls, whatever I was wearing.
I got all the footage of that. Yeah.
Threw it all on the floor because I just wanted skin contact straight away.
But he didn't stop screaming until he got put on my face, guys. And he literally had we were face to face, and I was like, baby boy, you're here. Mummy's with you. I'm here. And I held his hand, and oh my God, it was just the cutest thing. And I just remember this moment he got skin to skin with me and he heard my voice. He stopped crying, and he just found peace. You just found peace with me, didn't you? And he literally was just the cutest, and I was looking at him going, oh my God. So I had Eve on my boob, had him by my face, and I was just in baby heaven. I was like, this is unreal. They're both so amazing. I was with my babies. They were here, they were breathing, they were alive, they were healthy. They didn't need any help at all apart from stimulation to get him going, because he was in shock by how he came out backwards. And then what happened? What happened then? Because I had both of them, and then you must have gone round and they said something to you.
Well, no, they come over and said, just to let you know, Lauren's, can't remember exactly what they said, but it's something to do about that you were struggling and you was losing blood. And then obviously there was blue lights, there was a big panic going on in there. There was people
they said
running.
something worse. They said something a bit more scarier.
I can't remember exactly what they said.
No, but they said no. Lauren's
struggling. No, Lauren's having complications, is what they've said.
Yeah, Lauren's. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have a clue. I felt fine. I felt present. I felt with it. I was with my baby.
But that's when she said to me, "Do you want to cut Eve's cord?" And I was like, "No, cut it yourself," because I was more worried about you, obviously, because it was quite a scene that was happening in there, like blue lights, people running around, and where they asked me to come and see. Come over to where Eve was, because they took Eve to cut her cord, and I looked, there was just blood everywhere. There was tissues piled up on the floor, blood everywhere, and I was like, okay, this is actually really quite serious. And at that point it become less about these two and become more about you, because for a minute I thought, holy shit, what happens if I lose her in this moment, because it was quite serious for a minute.
I didn't have a clue how serious it was.
And that's the thing, because you was having an epidural, I knew you wasn't fully with it.
But I could hear
he was
how much
with it, but he wasn't
suction
fully with it. I could tell by the way he was holding the kids. He was all mashed up though. And I could tell he wasn't fully with it. He wasn't fully aware of what was actually playing out. But then obviously I'd become so focused on you, and I'm like, just make sure she's all right. And then they said, okay, we've stopped the bleeding. We've got her stable, and I thought, okay, thank God for that.
And then, by the way, my mum's also getting updated, saying Lauren's having complications. She's lost a lot of blood. She's lost 2 litres of blood. And then when my mum saw the blue code come out, it was down the whole hallway where she was, and she went, I hope this isn't Lauren. And the midwife came back, said, no, it is Lauren. She's lost a lot of blood. So my mum and dad were beside themselves. I know.
Your poor dad, when I come out, I didn't know that they knew what was going on, and as soon as he see me, he just started crying, and then I realised that in that moment that they was aware of what was going on as well.
Yeah. But they managed to get 2 litres. They put 1 litre of blood back in me, because basically with twins...
They give you a transfusion straight away, and then when they took you into recovery, they give you another transfusion.
I basically lost half my blood, I think, because with twins you have more blood volume anyways because you've got twins, but it went very quickly, so I needed a blood transfusion in that moment, otherwise I would have...
I think ultimately that they're both here, we're all healthy, so I think you can't really look at it and do what ifs and stuff like that, but I think when it comes to C-section, it can be quite a traumatising process to go through.
Yeah, I think especially when it's more of an emergency one, not a planned C-section. But I think whether it was a planned one or not, well, if it was a planned one, they would never let me go to 39 weeks anyways. But I still had 2 breech babies. It was still going to be complications. And I think that was the thing, whether or not I did vaginally or C-section, the complications are still just as much. So it was what it was. But I just felt like God was with me the whole time. That's how I felt. I felt like there was no way there's anything going to happen to me. I just knew I would be okay. And I felt absolutely fine. It was not like I felt, apart from my body did go into shock and I profusely sweated. Because I remember I was dripping, like, and I couldn't stop sweating. And I was like, I said to one of the midwives, I was like, what's happening to me? I was like, can you find me a fan? And you were like, I don't know where the fan is. I was like, but I packed the fan. And he was like, oh, no, you haven't got a fan. And he only found it on when we discharged ourselves. When we were discharged, he then found it when we were leaving the hospital. So, oh, here's the fan. I was like, I told you we had the fan. But they were trying to put wet towels on me to try and cool me down, because that was the only thing I thought, what's happening to me? Because I felt funny within the hot, like getting really hot, but that was apparently my body going to full shock. But other than that, I felt absolutely fine. And I was just happy I heard them cry, happy they were with me. But yeah, it was a bit of a blur coming out, I definitely know. And then I had to have another litre of blood in recovery. And yeah, it took a while for my bloods to come back to normal, but they did the bloods. And then everything, they said that it was all fine, like I had my hemoglobin and all of the things. And if I didn't have that iron transfusion, they said I would have been absolutely stuffed. I was like, fuck, I was so glad I made that decision to make sure my iron levels were high, because they were high. So then when it dropped to its like lowest, it wasn't that low because they were already higher. But if I was starting point low and it would have gone too low, then I would have needed extra help. I would have been in recovery for a long, long, long time. But
they were actually very good. They looked
they were
after
really
us.
good.
Spent the next 2 days
the midwife
in
that was at
hospital.
our home literally looked after me the whole time in recovery. I had a reaction to some of the medication, didn't I? Which she had to clean up. But she was amazing. She literally was amazing. She just looked after me, got me anything I wanted, told me when I can drink, told me when I could eat. I fed these straight away. I was breastfeeding straight away. They latched straight away, which I was just so happy about. And I was just in this bubble of just, I'm fine. But I think my mum, I could see in her face that she was in shock. You were in shock. And then my dad coming in when he visited. I don't know how much your mum knew, by the way. Because your mum came in quite quick, but I don't know how she knew
I
about
wouldn't say
my
I
dad.
was in shock. I think I was more...
Because it all happened so quick. By the way, they were delivered 6:33, 6:38.
Yeah,
So it was very
it
quick. It was from
happened.
12
There was
o'clock
no
to 6
time to
hours.
actually process anything.
The whole
really.
birth was in 6 hours. Like, that's nothing.
Oh, baby girl.
Oh, Papa.
Okay. Okay.
She's a bit hot.
Yeah, well. Okay.
She's probably dreaming.
Maybe she's alright.
They dream a lot.
But yeah, so we stayed in the hospital for the next 2 days. Well looked after. They'd done all of the
Yeah,
checks.
I had to stay a bit longer because I felt funny the following morning, and I thought, oh, felt a bit weird. And then my mum was like, you're not coming home too soon, don't be coming home, because I lost a lot of blood. So I was like, no, that's fine. So I did 2 nights at the hospital. They looked after us. It was very busy, wasn't it? The checks, that they come in all the time. I was like, I just want to sleep. But these babies were a dream the whole time. I slept with them the first night on me because I just wanted them. I wanted them skin to skin as long as possible, because I knew that trauma of them coming out to bright lights and all of the chaos that it was would have been a lot on their central nervous system. So I was like, no, I'm going to have them close to me all night. And they slept a dream. I actually slept between the feeds and stuff, but I was so wedged. I held them like that, and they were wedged in by all the bed, that I knew they were safe. And they slept on me the whole night. And the following day, they slept in their little cot, didn't they, next to me? And you were super dad, making sure they were changed, making sure they were fed, making sure I could get some sleep, because I hadn't slept in, I don't think I slept or ate in 24 hours, like from the birth to when I actually thought like I actually need some sleep. And you managed to have a few hours with them, didn't you? So then, even though they were crying, I managed to sleep a bit. And then, yeah, it was actually not too bad. And then we managed, we passed all the checks. I got my catheter out, managed to walk, managed to go to the toilet, passed all the checks, and now, day 2, we got to go home and take them back to our family.
And we've been here 2 weeks since, 2 weeks today.
Yeah,
2 weeks today.
My mum was like, no, come to mine, we'll help you with the recovery, because I knew I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even pick them up because my scar was so sore, and we hadn't really planned to be staying here. I thought I'd have a vaginal birth in a couple of days and I'll be back home, but I knew I needed the time to recover, and hence why we haven't done any videos, because we've had a few cries. My mum held it all together, and she's had a few cries. You did shed a tear yesterday, actually, didn't you?
It's just been very emotional, a lot of change.
We had to move through the emotions first, and then come to terms with everything. I came to terms with things a lot quicker, because I was like, actually, the whole birth plan I had everything in my head of like the things that could happen. I was prepared for it. It was my informed decision. It wasn't like you need to do this, you need to do that. Everything I made that decision because of my body, because of my communication with my babies and knowing what was right, wrong, and I made the decision at the right time that it wasn't that much of an emergency, but it was to the point, it was like, there's no way that they're coming. But we had a lot of time because my waters only broke, 6 hours before they were delivered, whereas normally they don't like it to go over 12 or 24 hours or something after waters break. So I had a lot of time. They weren't worried about the babies were fine. So it wasn't that much of an emergency, but once I did get them delivered, her foot was curled in, her toes were all curled in, and they were saying, and her cord, that was it, her cord was wrapped around her neck twice, and being breech, they said there was no way I could have delivered them vaginally, so I made the right call. So it was just that, unfortunately, not in the best positions, but that's what it was. But I've totally accepted that I got the birth, I still got the home birth experience that I wanted. That 6 hours was everything I wanted at home. And to experience contractions, to experience my waters breaking, to know my babies were ready for earthside, because my body was naturally going into labour. It's just that it couldn't get into established labour to really get her down. And that was it. And I totally accepted that. I was like, look, we knew it was going to be a bit of a more complicated birth because of the breech. And I knew if there was any signs of any complications, I would be in, and I was happy with that. And I was like, no, absolutely, I'm not going to put anyone at risk, myself or the babies. But it was just unfortunate that I did lose a lot of blood, and it was a bit of a chaotic blue light situation, and everyone was, like I said, my mum, my dad, you were very like, whoa, what's happening to me? More me, because the babies were fine. But everyone was worried about me, but I was fine. And I knew I'd be fine. And everyone said how glowing I was the day later. They're like, you look really well. And that's what everyone said to me. You look so well. Like even like a week later, I'm like, guys, I look so well because I'm so happy. I've got everything I wanted. The babies are well. I'm well. Life's good. Like I'm here. And my husband's here. Like I've got everything I've wanted. These babies in my arms. And how could I not glow? Whether or not I've gone through major surgery, lost half my blood, I was happy, and I think and I was happy and accepted the whole situation as it was. And my recovery has been amazing. Literally, I'm 2 weeks in. My belly's pretty much back to normal. You looked at me like, oh my God, you've got your body back quite quick. Not that I was prepared to get my body back that quick. I thought I was going to be ages having twins, being as big as I got. But and I'm breastfeeding, exclusively breastfeeding these babies, and they're healthy weights. Like I said, back to birth weight already 2 weeks in. And we're doing well. And I'm like, how can we not? Yeah, I'm glowing because I'm happy. I'm glowing because I've got everything I've ever wanted. And we've had so much support. Like my family have just been unbelievable. They've just looked after me in these 2 weeks period. And I'm just milked every part of it, of just being looked after and letting my body heal. And that's what I mean for anyone out there. You need the support. Like, don't try and do it on your own. Otherwise, you're just making the recovery harder. I said, just make sure you're asking for help and being okay with it. I did have a cry, didn't I, the first night, because I was like, wow, I really can't do anything. Like, I couldn't even lift the babies out of you had to put the babies on my boob. I couldn't lift them. I was so weak. But eventually, I've been practicing getting them up on my own, one boob. I mean, even though it might not be the most comfortable angle for them, when I'm doing it on my own, they're getting fed. Oh, it's okay. Talking about food, I think you're hungry.
So ultimately, 2 very healthy
babies, healthy babies. Mama. Your eyes are open.
It's been one hell of a journey to get to here, though.
I love you. So yeah, it was eventful, but we're here and we can't wait to share the rest of the stuff we've got going on. We've managed to get out the house, haven't we? Which has been nice. Literally, I think we got out the house a week and a half after that day.
Now we're just trying to find out what life looks like and feels like with...
Need a lot of preparation for twins.
These twins. Oh.
But it's learning, it's listening to them, listening to their cues, making sure they're well fed, making sure I'm well fed so I can feed them. But
and making sure I'm healthy.
Yeah.
So I can do all of that.
No. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little video catch up of our birth vlog, and we're looking forward to giving you a bit of twin life into the channel, and just
Seeing what that looks like for us.
Yeah, seeing what that looks like, and enjoying this Christmas period, because this is the most magical time of the year, and we're here. This time last year, we got these embryos from IVF, and in March, we implanted them. Well, I say we implanted them. We got them implanted, and they both implanted. Not that we expected both of them to implant. We got our 2 miracles, and now they're here by this Christmas. It's just amazing how far we've come. From IVF, from all of the struggles, from all of the journey, trying to conceive for 4 years, just to be here right now. It's like, and my ear has just gone ringing.
One each.
The angels are with us. God is with us.
Anyway, let's get these fed.
Lots of love, guys.